Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Satisfactory Update 8 with Lone Debater 7, and today we are going to be covering how to create a motor build. This build is going to be shooting to make us 5 motors per minute, and let's go ahead and dive right on in. So let's take a look at the recipe. To create 5 motors per minute, you need a single assembler, and that assembler needs to be fed with 10 rotors per minute and 10 stators per minute to get us our 5 motors. Now, motors are used in oil buildings, I believe, so we want to have these automated. That way we can construct all the oil stuff as we see fit and as we need it. So that's kind of why I want to get this set up. I am slowly spooling up. Last episode, we went ahead and put together our smart plate build, so we have all of the resources automated for phase 2 of the space elevator. They're just spooling up as we speak, so maybe by the end of this build, we'll have all the resources we need to unlock Tier 5 and Tier 6 of the milestone tree. But anyway, let's take a look at motors. So we need rotors, and we need stators. I'm going to plug this guy in right here, so we're ready to go. I'm going to target this box right over there for our output of motors. And I think what I want to do is actually build the production for our stators and motors right up, and rotors rather, right up here. And I think that'll work pretty well. So we need 10 rotors and we need 10 stators per minute. Now if we look in our assembler, you get 5 stators per minute per assembler, so we need 2 of those. And then for rotors, we need a total, you only get 4 per assembler, so it's a little bit awkward of a ratio. If I were to overclock these to 150, I could get 6 per. So we could do that, actually, and then get 2 excess. We're going to end up with 2 excess rotors either way, unless I don't fully overclock them. So I think we'll just do 3 assemblers making rotors and call it a day. So that, I think we'll do rotors on this level, and then we'll probably take this platform up another level and build our stators above. So let's kind of target these in a decent way. So I got a 2 wide path. I wouldn't mind keeping that as much as possible. So let's see if we can get our assemblers into position here for the rotors. So there we go, that should work. We'll go rotor, and we will go rotor. So cool, we'll get power set up for these. And I think I don't want to max this out because I know I want to continue power along. So we'll just plug that in there. So this pulls max, but this one has 2 spots open. That's perfect. So these are all set, ready to go. Now to build us 12 rotors per minute, we need to have a total of 300 screws per minute and a total of 60 rods per minute. So what is that going to look like? I believe I will use our alternate cast screw recipe. This will give us 50 screws per minute per 15 iron ingots. So we need a total of 6 constructors running this, which will take 3 smelters. And if we look at our rods, we get 15 rods per minute per 15 iron ingot, and we need 60 total, so we need 4 of these. So our rotors should run off of 120 iron ore per minute for 1 pure node on a tier 1. We'll probably end up doing a pure iron node with a tier 2, just because we're going to want the extra iron for the rest of the build. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and get this figured out. So as far as the screws go, I think as opposed to trying to merge all the lines together, what I'd prefer to do is actually place 2 constructors like this and then feed them into the respective assembler for the screws, and then maybe with the rods we'll do something with the we'll merge them and then split them. So the rods are going to take up significantly less space, so maybe what I'll do for that is actually kind of utilize this area here and place 4 constructors in line, something like that, and set them all to rods. No under or overclocking required. We just need a flat 60, and 4 constructors with the rod recipe will give us a flat 60. So let's get power set up for these. And I'm going to do 2 constructors per power pole on this piece, just so we have room. I can connect these poles like that, and then connect this to there. And then I still have space off of that for the rest of our power. Now let's figure out the logistics off of the rods and get those into our assemblers for the rotors, I think would make sense. So we'll run these like that, and then what I can do is feed this one into there, this one into there, this one into there, this one into there, and this one into there. Now, we need to have a splitter that feeds both of our assemblers, or actually it's going to feed all three of the assemblers, huh? So, actually it probably makes sense to do something like this. Run one line in there, run the next line into the middle, like that, and then run the third line out to the end. Something kind of like this. I think that'll work. And then for our screws, we'll probably bring those in at a height and then feed them in. So, well, the other thing too with the screws, we plan on running 2 constructors for each one. So what I can do here, I actually want a merger, I think. And if I place a merger like this, I can merge our 2 screw constructors into there, and then I can run a marking belt in like that for the first one. The second and third one will probably just use an elevated belt to get it over the top, and that should work just fine. So let's go ahead and place the first of these screw constructors. Can I not fit it there? It's going to overlap with the corner of that one, huh? Unfortunate. So maybe we won't do that. Maybe what we'll do for the first 2 is actually have them in line with our rods. Do something like this instead. Now I do need to get iron ingots back here, so that's fine. We'll look at that in a moment. But then what I could do is something like this one into this one. And then this one is also going to go in... Whoops, that is not a straight belt. Don't know what I was doing there. Something like this, and then that'll feed. Cool. Now these are set. I need to put power in them. So we'll connect these with our poles. Plug that in right there. Cool. And then for the rest of these, I think we actually put them so there's a point right there. So let's maybe put them here. Well, I want to have enough room to get the merger in. And now it probably would fit there just fine, but I'm going to expand the footprint of the build just slightly to give us a little bit more room to work with. I know I don't need to do this, I just kind of want to. I think it'll make the design look a little bit better. It's kind of the motivation, so we'll plug those in. Then I need another merger. I think we'll just run that out of the front of this one. Now, the output of each of these screw constructors does need to be a Mark II belt. I think I'm just going to bring it up to height 1. Can I do something like that? Yeah, that'll work. We'll do something like that. And that's not terrible. I'm okay with that. That looks alright. And then we'll place the next 2. So we'll place 4 screw constructors in a row like this. And then we will basically have the rotor intermediary products set up logistically speaking. We still need to go get the iron ore, obviously, but that's an easy fix and won't take too long. We're going to probably do that towards the end of the episode, once we're ready. So there's that. This one doesn't actually need to go elevated because there isn't a belt blocking the way. Now this obviously is a little bit off. I suppose what I could do is actually move this merger to be in line. How does that? That won't actually connect, will it? It won't. Unfortunate. Okay, you know what? We're just going to redo what we had. I know that belt is not a perfect bend and stuff, but I think that's okay. Not the end of the world, right? It's just one belt that kind of like squeeze over. So I'm alright with that. Okay. These are set, but still need a power pole. So let's plug them into the power pole, plug them into the network. Fantastic. So those are ready to roll. Now, let's get our smelters figured out and kind of see where we want to do this. So we're going to need 2 smelters to run our 4 iron rods. We're going to need a smelter for each of the, or a smelter for every 2 of these as well. So, right? Is that right? So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total of 5 smelters. Okay, easy enough. So we definitely are going to need a pure iron node with a tier 2. And I think what I'll do for this is we'll actually make the logistics for the ore a little more complicated. Well, actually, this is going to be a little bit awkward, isn't it? So I could place a smelter like this, and then throw a splitter to bring it in. I just want to leave some room here because I know I'm going to need belts to go into the other structures that we have. So yeah, I think this will work. This will be fine. I actually want to place this centered. Same with the smelter. I'd like to center that if I can. Yeah. But this direction. There we go. Okay. So that goes in there. This one goes in there. And that one goes in there. Set the recipe, iron ingot. And this power pole is likely to be used for a second smelter, which we're going to place right behind it, I think. The only downside to doing it like this is we need to get iron ore into this build as well. So I could extend the platform out. The only thing I dislike about that is we have some miners right here already. So I guess the other way we could do it is we could have a battery of smelters back along this row. So, actually, let's start on this side. I want to start on this side. Sorry, guys. I know. We started on one spot and then we moved, but I kind of want to look at something. So, if I place a smelter like here, obviously this needs to be split between the 2 constructors. That's easy enough to pull off. Okay. This is going to be iron ingot. Actually, do I have 2 minutes? No, I don't. Okay. So 1, 2. This would be 3, 4. Get the belt. Actually, the splitter. Okay, so recipe. Grab power for these. This needs to come over here ultimately, but that's fine. Then I have that one kind of chilling on its own. I guess what I could do, if I break this, like what would happen, so I have these, I need to get 3 splits worth of iron ingot into there. So I could, in theory, run 3 smelters right here, merge them, and then just split them into where they need to go, just to keep our ore logistics a little bit easier on us. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's only 3, but whatever. I can count, I promise. So let's go ahead and do this. Grab power pole from there, connect it. This one down, connect it. And actually this will be a 4th one because I think we'll end up with this guy. And then, I don't know if I want the splitter there or not, so we'll leave it for now. We'll deal with that in a second. So those are all set. If I merge all these, I'll have 120 total. And I need 15 into each. So, that should work, actually. I think this will work just fine. Need a merger. 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 The in off of each smelter will be a Mark 1. After the 3rd merge, it needs to be a Mark 2 belt in order to carry the a little bit more than 60 per minute that we're going to be moving. So each smelter does 30 per minute. So 2, this can be a Mark 1. Once we add in the third, it needs to be a Mark 2. Okay, easy enough. Hopefully you followed that. So these two. So this is 120. It's ultimately going to go into a battery of 3. So I need a splitter off of this. So actually, it may be... Well, I need to pull 3 splits. So we'll run something like this, and I actually need to adjust this merger's orientation. So it is pointing this way. This goes into there. This will be a Mark 1 because it's pulling. Well, 120 divided by 3 is 40, 40, 40. Is that right? I think that's right. We'll find out. So that goes into there. This goes into there. I grab another splitter. This machine and this machine, and then the final split. Oh, so this needs to feed this splitter. That's what needs to happen, and then this last line can go straight into there, and there we go. I think that'll deal with our iron ingot supply. So cool. Is this not plugged in at all? It is not. Okay. That needs to plug in, and then I need to plug this guy into... Is it this power pole? Is it further down? Where did we have power accessible at? Did we have power accessible somewhere? Maybe not. Okay, so it's not from this end, it's from the other end. And then we can plug our miner in off of that. Okay, that'll work. So, grab this power pole. Connected to the one right in front of it. There we go. Those are all powered up. Now we need to get the logistics for the ore sorted. So we've got 4. We have 6 total? Is that right? Do I have 1 too many over here? I might have 1 too many. I think I have 1 too many. Shoot. Okay. I guess that's fine. We can break this one. I don't need that one. Because it's 2, 4, 6, and 2, 4. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have 10 constructors, each take 15 iron ingots. So I need 5 smelters making 30 that are then split in half. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So as far as this piece goes, we're gonna probably place our iron right here. So let's kind of plan out the logistics. I will be using a tier 2. And one of the outputs of that tier 2, the tier 2 on a pure node will give us 240. So we're going to put 240 total iron ore into this splitter. And part of that is going to go up to our stator build. Now the rest of this is actually going to feed these smelters. So I got 240, I go 120, 120. And actually, I maybe need to split it 3 ways. So let me just look. How much iron do I need? I have to make steel for stators, is why I'm saying I need iron. So steel pipe, I need 2 constructors making steel pipe. So that means I need a total of 60 steel ingot. And I'm going to use this alternate carbon steel ingot. So that is only a total of 30 iron ingot. So I only need 1 smelter for that. And actually, what might make sense, I could just place that smelter down here. And just bring the iron ingot up instead. So maybe I think I will do that actually. It'll make our lives a little bit easier. Now if I have this right here facing this direction, it's going to be a little weird. Getting those ingots. Okay, how do I want to do this? So I could place the miner like right here. And then maybe I have a smelter facing this direction. Yeah, I think we'll do that. That should work. That one's full, and that one's full too, huh? Okay. I do have room off of this power pole, so we'll just bring that down, and we'll plug this in. That's making iron, so ultimately this is going to go up. And this can just be a Mark 1, so I'm just going to bring it to the end so I have a snap point for the conveyor lift that we're ultimately going to place. But this should make our split logistics a little bit easier. So I'm going to put a splitter here. We're going to put 240 into it. But what I'm going to do right after it is place a merger, and I'm going to bring just 30 off. And it's really going to be... So this will pull 60 off the line. And then if I have a Mark II and a Mark II doing something like that, it should put the rest of it through this line out here. And then I can split it amongst the rest of the build. And that should work just fine. So I've got 3 at the end and 2 right here. So let me just try to do some math here. So 240 is going in. I'm splitting it 3 ways. So if I take 240 divided by 3, that's 80 on each line. So 80 and 80 goes into 160. So if I have 160 divided by 5 would be 32, so that's more than enough coming out. But if I divide that by 2, I get 80. Divided by 2 again, I get 40, which is slightly more than what we need per unit, and it only gives us 4 lines. So I think what I need to do here... Whoops, didn't mean to take a screenshot, but I totally did. If I bring another 40 in, plus 40 is 200 divided by 2. Whoops. 200. 200 divided by 2 is 100. Okay, that's easy math, right? Divided by 3 would give us what we need. So let me actually... I'm going to break this line, this line. Or, well, I don't know if that's the way to do it. I think I'm going to use the trick of being able to stick a splitter onto a line like this and then run that in like that. Yeah. So now what's happening, I get 80 on this line, 80 on this line, and then another 40 to give us 200 coming out. Then I can take a splitter coming out here. This needs to be a Mark III because we're doing 200, and these will support up to 270. Mark II only does 120, right? So this splitter can split in 2 to give us 100 and 100. So if I put one line right here on a Mark II belt, that can feed these 2. It'll overfeed these 2, but I'm okay with that. Better than underfeed, right? Then I can take another splitter and actually have this splitter feed the remaining 3. And these will also be overfed slightly, but it should work. It'll be slightly more than ratio, but you know what? It'll be about right. So I'm going to call that a win. So this is doing that, and I need to pull from this splitter, not that one. Just bring it into the input of that splitter. And it does overhang a little bit, but I'm actually okay with that. This should be fine. So, okay. All I need to do is get a pure iron node feeding with a tier 2 miner feeding into this splitter. We will be good to go. So I'm just going to pre-place the belt so I don't forget where I need to plug into. So this is where our iron ore needs to go in, and that will run all of our rotors. So our rotors are done. Easy enough. Not too bad, right? Hopefully you were able to follow that. Now, we need to merge these and then split them for our actual motor. Or, well, actually, they're just going into one machine, so I just need to merge them, actually. So, we'll place a merger, and these are all 4, so I can definitely get away with Mark 1 belts. So I will just use Mark 1 belts. Put something like that. Then I want a conveyor lift Mark 1, which is going to go somewhere like that, and then like that. Okay, cool. All I need to do is make sure our stators are exporting to the right of this lift And then we won't have to worry about belts colliding or doing any weirdness like that. So I will try to take care of that. Let's see. I don't know if I like this belt. Actually, I think I want to replace this lift to kind of fix that. So if I do this, then it's right on the ground. It's still kind of a funky angle, but I think that's okay. All right. That's the rotors. So we're halfway through to building our motors, minus putting in the ore. We do need to go up another level in order to get our... And actually, this floor is going to have a miner on it, so I probably need to go up 5 height so we don't clip into it. So, okay. Let's go ahead and get some foundation placed. Whoops. Did not mean to fall. 5. Okay. I probably am going to need to go grab some concrete and such, but that's okay. We'll deal with that in a moment. And let's just kind of map this guy out. So I think these can be 10 across. And we maybe don't need the whole floor to get this done. I'm not actually sure how big this platform needs to be, but we're just going to build what we can build until we run out of material. So we can do one more row of 10. And then I need to go grab resources. So I'm going to go grab resources, then come back. I should probably bring it out to the same, like, horizon line. That's not really what it is, but that's what I'm going to call it. Don't judge me. But let's restock on resources, get back up there and finish building. So I'm going to grab another 400. That should be fine. Cable I'm sitting okay on. I don't need screws. Do I need rods? No. Refined iron plate I do need some of. Rotors I'm sitting okay on. Thing. Wire I'm okay on as well. I think I'll grab an extra 200 iron plate just for good measure. We are going to need to build some handheld miners to actually place down the miners for our resource nodes, but we'll deal with that once we get to the point of actually placing those. So I'm just going to bring power up here so it's available and I don't have to worry about it after I get the floor in. But let's finish building this out, and it just needs to go out one more. Something like this. And really, our stators, we're going to have 2 assemblers building stators, is what this is going to work out to be. So, if I build it like right there, that actually is perfect for the output. So we'll put that there, that there. And I'm just going to place the logistics for the output of these before we build the rest of it. It's pretty easy. That's why I normally save the output for the end, or have been lately. But this time, I want to do this part first because I'd like to make sure I get the conveyor lift set up properly. That's fall damage. It's only 12. No big deal. This one, gotta come down. And actually, it might make sense to have it face this direction. Sure. I don't know if I like that. We're going to change the direction on that, I think. Boom. Same height. Bring her in. Cool. Alright. That's that taken care of. Not too bad, not too bad. Getting there, we're getting there. Now, stators are not too bad to build. They are a little weird because we have to make steel, but let's set the recipe for these and get a powerful like that. Snap you to there. Cool. And let's just review what we need to make. So we need to make a total of 80 wire per minute and a total of 30 steel pipe per minute. Obviously, that's split between 2 machines. We have two machines making stators, so 40 into each on wire and 15 steel pipe into each for that. So let's focus on the wire first. That's going to be quite a bit easier, I think. So for wire, I think we're going to do something similar to what we did downstairs with the iron rod. I believe we're just going to need 3 constructors making wire because you get 30 wire per minute from each constructor. And this is only going to require 45 copper ingot. So that's a little bit of a weird number, just because it's not a perfect split off of a smelter, but that's okay. So we need a normal copper node to run this with a tier 1 miner. We could use an impure node with a tier 2 miner. So if you're not playing with buildable resource nodes, that's what you are looking for as far as your copper demand is going to be. Now this does need to be a Mark II belt because we're supplying more than 60 to this splitter. So, no worries. Do that. So that is our wire pretty much sorted. Minus, getting it powered and everything like that, and fed with copper and blah, blah, blah. But these are the constructors for a copper wire, so that's not too bad. Feels pretty good. Pretty straightforward. Pretty easy, hopefully. Get those connected. And then we need some smelters for copper. And I think I will squeeze these in behind our guys here. So I think the way I want to do this, I can't move it forward, so I can place it like that. I am going to underclock this one to 15 per minute, just because that's all we need to produce, and might as well save the little bit of power where we can. So, boom, that one can do that. Then the other one, I think I want to place like right here, so I can then throw a splitter down in between them and run in and in. Set this to copper. And this one will do the full 30 a minute, and we'll just loop it around to get it into the remaining 2 constructors. So there's that. This, I'll place the miner back here, is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to place a pole right there. And I think we'll pull from the actual source power pole to supply the power for the steel side of this build. But let's get our copper imported. Alright, come on. Cooperate with me. There we go. Boom. Alright, that is our copper wire figured out. We just need to place a copper node back there. Easy enough. Now let's figure out the steel. The steel is going to be a little bit trickier just because we have to do foundries. But let's see. It's going to end up being 2 foundries total, because each foundry is going to do 30 steel ingot per minute. And to make steel pipe in the constructor, we need 30 steel ingot per constructor, which will give us 20 steel pipe. And we need a total of 30 steel pipes. So we're going to make 10 extra steel pipe a minute with this build, but that's A-okay in my mind. I'm not too worried about it. It's also good that it is a straight up, that it is 2 foundries. I don't know why I said straight up, but it's 2 foundries, right? Because 2 foundries running the alternate carbon steel ingot recipe. This comes from the refined power mod. So if you don't have that installed, you have to use the regular steel ingot recipe, which the ratio is just worse. That's why I don't use it. So yeah, bear that in mind. We're using an alternate on this, but this will require carbon dust, and 2 foundries can be ran off of a single constructor making carbon dust. So if I place the constructor for carbon dust, like right here, now this does need to be a Mark II belt, and I need a splitter first, so I can snap to something. I can run this into both of these machines quite easily, and move looking pretty good. So there is the feed to our foundries. And then for the iron ingot, we actually have that on the floor below, already made for us off of our iron node. So I don't have to place an iron node, I just have to place a coal node up here as well. So we only need a coal and a copper node, so that's actually pretty good for us. So how do I want to place this splitter? Probably in line with this guy. This is coming off the middle right? So we're going to have some weird clipping stuff, and I know that doesn't look the best, but you know what? I'm okay with it, I think. It's also going to have a weird belt going in, but you know what? That's okay. Not the end of the world. We can live with a couple of strange looking belts and not have it be the end of the world. So let's plug this into there. And then I think what we do is we bring this power pole out. We'll actually connect it from dust into that instead of off of the main pole. So this needs 40 coal per minute, so I will need a normal coal node as well to run our foundry. So I need a normal coal, a normal copper, and then a pure iron, and we are pretty much there. The only thing we need to do is actually place 2 constructors to make our steel pipe. So for these, I think actually what makes sense is to place 1 here, and instead of like merging them, I can just feed 1 to this. You know what I'm saying? Now this one I will try to get a little bit better belt design for. So there's that. This is going to be making us steel pipes. Great. This can plug into there. And then this one's also going to make a steel pipe. And I think I will place it over... Can I place it here? I can. And this guy needs to come to right here. But what I'm going to do instead of soft clipping it is I'm actually going to bring this up to height 1 and then run it in over the top. So we avoid some soft clipping, not all of the soft clipping. So is what it is, right? We'll be okay. So there's that. And now we've got this gigantic platform that we don't really need. Like I said, stators are quite a bit easier than rotors to build, so maybe we should have done this on the bottom, but that's okay. We did it up top. We've got room up here, so that's fine. I suppose that's good if we ever decide we want to expand this. We have plenty of space to do so. All right. So let's see. I need to get enough copper and coal for a normal node each with the tier 1 miners. So that's 2 handheld miners, and then the ore, so 1,000 of each, and then I need a pure node of iron. So I need a total of 4 handheld miners, 2,000 iron ore, and a total of 1,000 copper, 1,000 coal. So let's build the miners first. And what I might want to do here is, let's see, this is 3, 6, 9, 18, 20. Okay, I have the inventory space to hold all 4. I just wanted to double check that. So there is the 4 miners that we need. Cool. Let's grab the coal and copper first, and then we'll come back to the iron. So there's 1,000 coal, and this should be copper. There's 1,000 copper. We'll run up, place the 2 nodes and the miners. Then we'll come back, grab the iron ore, place the iron node, and we should be ready to rock and roll here. So let's see. One to place the coal miner back here. So we'll get the node. We need a coal normal. I want to place it in line with this. And if I leave 2 tiles here, that's enough space for the miner and will allow me to place the belt without any issues. So there's that. It's just a Mark 1 belt because it is just a Mark 1 mine. This is only doing 60 coal per minute. So this can plug into that, I think, directly. And I believe I have a power pole slot available over here. Do I? Do I not? I do. I placed one down. Look at that. I planned ahead. Can you imagine that? So for this, I probably could place the copper right here and still be okay. Let's try that and see. I know the belt savings is not that big of a deal. It's just iron plate, but you know what? Try to do what you can, right? So there we go. That should start our stators up. It'll just take a little bit of time to actually buffer the resources and all that fun stuff. No, don't fall all the way, or else we will die. Not a big deal. All right, let's run over to this box because this is where our iron ore is, and we need 2,000 of this. Cool. There's that. Go back up the ramp, and this ramp I know isn't really connected to this platform, but you know what? It is close enough I can use it, so I'm gonna. And we need our iron ore coming in right here. Is basically what needs to happen. So we're gonna place a pure iron node. And I could place it in line, I suppose. Why not? Do that. And this does need to be a miner Mark II, so just bear that in mind. And we need a Mark III belt coming out, connecting into that splitter. And this power, this miner just needs to be connected to power, and we're ready. We are almost there. That can plug in right there. Cool. So this will slowly start churning some iron ore out, so 240 a minute. That's more iron ore than we technically need, but a pure node with the tier 2 will support the, 6 smelters that we're trying to run here. So that's why I have this set up like this. But this is going to take a moment to spool. We have everything going into our motor assembler, but let's just run through the build real quick just so we can kind of see how it works. So we have 3 assemblers making motors, or rotors, not motors. We have 3 assemblers making rotors. That requires a total of 300 screws per minute and 60 iron rods per minute. For our screws, we have an alternate recipe for screws that does 50 per minute per constructor for 12.5 iron ingots. So we have a total of 6 constructors making screws with that alternate recipe for 300. And then we have another 4 constructors making iron rods with just the regular recipes for 4 constructors at 15 a minute for a total of 60. And that is a total of 60 iron ingots in. So we need a total of 100, or no, it's more than that, sorry. It's 10 times 50. We need a total of 150 iron ingot to make our motors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smelters making iron ingot for our rotors. And that's how that's working. We're getting the iron ore to run those 5 smelters from a single pure iron node with a tier 2 miner on it. We're taking the remaining little bit of iron ore and sticking it into a 6 smelter making 30 iron ingot a minute to supplement our rotor build, which is just upstairs. Or not rotor, it's stators. I apologize. One of these days I'll get the names right, I promise. So the other half of our motor build requires a total of 10 stators. So we need 2 assemblers making stators, 5 each, and that requires 80 wire per minute and 30 steel pipe a minute. So did I not set the recipe on these foundries? Probably not. That's why nothing's happening. So there we go. So in order to do this, we need 3 constructors making wire. That will give us a total of 90 wire per minute at a cost of 45 copper ingot per minute. To get the copper ingot, we have 2 smelters, 1 making 30 per minute, which is this guy here, feeding 2 of our constructors. We have a second smelter underclock to do 15 per minute, which is feeding our 3rd constructor. And then we have a single copper node, normal node, that is at 60. I'm going to underclock it to 45. Actually, this probably should stay 60, so the splitter works the way it's supposed to. But yeah, so we have a single normal copper node with a tier 1 miner on it to supply this. You could get away with a impure copper node and a tier 2 miner if you only have those available. On the steel pipe side, we need 2 constructors making the regular steel pipe recipe. That'll give us a total of 40 per minute, so slightly more than what we need, but that'll get it done. That requires a total of 60 steel ingot per minute, and I am using an alternate carbon steel ingot recipe in my foundries that does 30 steel ingots per minute for 45 carbon dust and 15 iron ingots. This recipe comes from the refined power mod, so if you're not playing with that mod, you're not going to have this available. So just bear that in mind, but that's what I'm playing with, so that's why we have it. So the way this works, we have 2 foundries. They are getting the 30 total iron ingots per minute that we need from downstairs off of our pure iron node. That the coal dust is coming from a single constructor, turning 40 coal per minute into 100 carbon dust a minute. and then feeding that into the smelters. This requires one normal coal node at 60 that will do 60 parts per minute. If it's a tier 1 miner, I'm going to underclock this to 40 a minute because I am only feeding one machine, so there's no reason to have excess power consumption by our drill. It saves us a little bit of power. It's not a whole lot, but it's something, right? So that is the stator half of the build. So we've got our stators, we've got our rotors down below, right here, right? And then finally, they are into this assembler right here, making us a total of 5 motors per minute. So this system has been running for, I don't know, it's probably been like 2-3 minutes now. We've had about maybe 30 seconds worth of motor production time. So not a whole lot. Last step here, we just need to connect it down to this box, which should be quite easy for us. Just going to bring a conveyor belt mark 1 out to here. And then I think that's not what I wanted to grab. I wanted to grab a lift. We will just run a belt straight across. I think that's about the same height. Do something like this. It's a little shorter, but that's okay. And those are our motors going into our box. So we've got 5 of them going in. So we've done one full production cycle already. Fantastic. Now motors are utilized to create most of the oil buildings. So like the oil drill and that kind of stuff requires motors. That's why we wanted to put this together. And it's also the last item that we have unlocked currently fully automated now. So we have automated everything available to us from milestones 1 through 4, which feels pretty good. We should be about ready to get our space elevator phase 2 done as well, just because we have had quite a bit of time for our items to spool up. So let's just take a look over here and see what we're sitting on. So I've got, that's stators, don't care about those. So automated wiring, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 500 automated wiring buffered, and then this should be about 1200 versatile framework. Then for our smart plating, we've got 8, 9, so 450 smart plating. So we're almost there. Let's actually go ahead and build a platform for our space elevator somewhere so we can place it down and see what we actually need to supply it with. I believe it's 500 of each of those 3 resources, but we'll maybe run over here. Sure. It's kind of out of the way, but I actually don't mind it being over here. I do have hyper tubes unlocked. I just have not built any to kind of traverse. So let's just build out a platform for our space elevator real quick for the end of this episode, just to wrap things off on a high note. We might be able to launch our phase 2, and I wouldn't mind sharing that with you guys. But primary focus, we got our motor build done. Now the space elevator requires quite a bit of stuff, if I recall. Yeah, we need rod, wire, and concrete. Okay, that's fine. Let's go grab it. I definitely have all those buffered in these boxes. So let's grab 1500 wire. I did not want to grab the small one. I'm just going to grab 2000 because I apparently don't have any wire on me. Strange. I need like 250 for the rods, so we'll just grab a little extra. And then on plate, I'll just grab 3 stacks. That should be enough. On concrete, I am going to grab a little extra just because we started building some platforms. I believe it's only 500, so we'll grab 1,000. And we'll run back over there. I know it's kind of a little bit of a hike because we don't have a hyper tube over there, but it's not too far, right? It's just right here. So jump up here, and hopefully this platform's big enough. I think it will be. And with this, you can actually automate placing stuff inside the space elevator. Alternatively, you can just come up to the configure thing and load it with the stuff. So we need 500 smart plates, 500 versatile framework, and 100 automated wiring. So we should have all of those. Let's just slide over and grab all of that stuff. Now that we have it built, it actually shows us what we need to complete phase 2. So we can kind of see the resource requirement there. We automated all of these things in the past 3 episodes. So if you haven't checked them out yet, be sure to go on the channel and take a look. So there's the 100 of that. 500 of these should be 10. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 500. Then we probably have the 500. Yeah, we do. All right, cool. We just finished building all the stuff that we need to complete phase 2 of the space elevator. So let's go ahead and launch this guy. If you haven't played the game before, this is kind of a cool thing that it does. This guy connects up to space, and what you can do is you just control click, and it puts everything into the inventory. You then get the option to seal this. This guy compresses, and then we can send it. So let's send it. Boom. Phase 2 done. Feels good. We can kind of watch it. It'll shoot this little guy up into space. This is kind of what happens. Boom. Shoot it off. Yeah, buddy. Get into space. Awesome. So that is phase 2 of our space elevator done. Now, obviously, to get to phase 3 done, we need quite a bit more stuff. So we actually need more versatile framework, and then we also need 2 other things that we don't have unlocked yet. This box can't actually hold enough stuff, so I am just going to dismantle this container, break this, and I'm going to upgrade it to a industrial storage because that likely is going to be big enough for us. So let's just place that there, and then what I can do is hopefully grab a conveyor lift. Will it connect automatically? I think it does. Let's just see. Yeah, it does. Cool. And that should hold all of the versatile framework. These boxes are 3, 6 by 3, 6, 7, 8. So 6 times 8, 48 slots times 50. Is that enough? I don't know if that's actually enough, but that's fine. We'll let this box fill up instead, just because we need it. We actually don't need automated wiring or smart plating for the next phase, but that's fine. We run over to our hub, and look at our milestones. We now have tier 5 and tier 6 unlocked. Woo! Super fun. So we could even get logistics for if we really wanted to. Oh, that's upgrades there. We have oil processing if we want to get into oil, which we definitely do. We'll probably do that shortly. I don't know when. I don't know what I want to do next, but we definitely will be continuing the series on. We have all the oil stuff to automate. We can maybe look at doing some additional power builds and stuff like that. We also probably need to set up like rubber and plastic, which is oil. We could build computer, and then I guess the other 2 items for phase 3 is modular engines and adaptive control units, which I believe are made in the manufacturer, which is a new assembly type machine. But guys, with that launch of the space elevator and our motor build completed, we are going to end the episode here for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.